Dear students, let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, that is 18th July 2017. The first article is about voting in a season of discontent. It is about coming Manipur elections. In this, what are the recent events that are expected to influence the voting behavior in Manipur? We are going to discuss. Now, Manipur can be broadly divided into valley and hill region. The valley region is dominated by Meiteis. The hill region is dominated by tribals, majorly Nagas and Kukis. The valley region has 40 seats and the hill region has 20 seats. All of them are reserved for the tribals except one. In this case, the Meiteis objections are majorly two. Outsiders shall be limited to get settled in valley. So they are talking about inner line permit. And second, they are opposed to creation of any greater Nagaland. And the second thing is, in the hilly region, Nagas, they identify themselves with the other Nagas in the Nagaland. They support the greater Nagaland, but they are being opposed by Kukis. Recently, Naga inhabited areas are being divided and new districts are being created. Government cites the administrative reasons for the same. And Nagas see it as splitting of their homeland, and they have initiated the Manipur blockade. It has caused the many hardships, both in the case of valley and also in the case of the hill region. So in this context, these factors are expected to influence the voting behavior, and we have to wait and see who are going to get benefited. But however, I want to make some conclusions over here. The political parties regularly use the administration or administrative means to gain the votes in the elections. It is not an best practice. The economic and administrative logic has to govern the new districts and creation of new districts rather than the political benefits or parochialism. So that's what my comment about this article will be. And the politics we are not going to discuss in this article. And then we have something called a wake-up call. So this article talks about growing distress among the military and paramilitary forces. Now, if you take any organization, the grievance redressal for its members is very critical to maintain proper health of the organization. It means that the grievance redressal acts as a feedback mechanism for the organization to rectify itself. When this grievance redressal is not available, the members resort to various alternative practices which can disturb the discipline in the organization. Now, in the paramilitary forces, people are resorting to social media to explain their difficulties to the nation. And already we know that we are living in a post-truth era. So probably we may not know the complete truth what is happening behind these social media postings. But we can clearly say that it can be a threat to the national security. How? It is not about these Jawans posting the videos on the social media. It is more about people given access to social media in the military and paramilitary forces. So the sensitive information can be accidentally leaked through the social media, or the accounts of these people can be hacked. Their mobiles can be hacked to get sensitive or to get access to the sensitive information. So we have to see the ongoing crisis from a wider dimension of national security. That's what this article talks about. In the nick of time, this article is about GST. You know that the GST aims to create one single market and one single indirect tax for all the goods and commodities. But however, Indian GST is getting deviated from these norms. The states have opposed to various aspects, especially related to the implementation of GST, that is on administrative control. At the recent meeting, this particular issue is resolved. If the turnover of a company is 1.5 crores, that is less than 1.5 crores, these companies will be shared, the SSCs will be shared in the ratio of 90% and 10%. If it is greater than 1.5 crore, they will be shared in the ratio of 50-50. And the issue which has been pending is the industry concern. In this, if you observe, industry is looking for clear guidelines how GST reform need to be implemented. And then the government is also talking about penal provisions, anti-profiteering authority. So in those circumstances, without the clear guidelines, it can lead to chaos and confusion among the industry. So the government shall take or address the concerns of the industry to float the GST as early as possible. Now let's come to the perspective page. Here the first article is about Afghan agenda for Trump. Now let us see the Obama era with regard to the Afghanistan. Now Holbrooke was appointed as a special representative to Half-Pak region. And President Obama also declared this Half-Pak region as a theater of terror. And initially he was very skeptical about the role of the Pakistan. And he has asked the Pakistan to destruct all the safe havens. But later, he started seeing a strategic ally in the Pakistan in fight against terrorism. He has advised the Afghanistan to solve the problems across the Durand line and use the good offices in Pakistan to solve the issues with the Taliban. So this declaration of the strategic ally is also followed with aid to Pakistan to the tune of $30 billion. So the author accuses that the Pakistan has created more terror elements in Afghanistan and which has led to the worsening of the situation. It means the Pakistan is the major factor and its interest to control the sphere of influence there is the major reason for perpetuation of the terror in Afghanistan. And second, the President Obama also clearly advised the Afghanistan against the India's role. He believed that India's role in Afghanistan can distance the Pakistan away from the peace in Afghanistan. But however, this strategy has been changed at the end of his career, but the time is already up. And added to that, a series of drone attacks, militarization of the Afghan policy by United States. It has alienated the common people in Afghanistan from the United States. Now, what the author suggests is, in the Trump's era, he shall strive to produce a regional answer to the problem of the Afghanistan. He shall not see the problem of the Afghanistan from the lens of Pakistan, rather than Iran, Russia, India. All these countries can come together and engage in providing for a stable and prosperous Afghanistan. That's what the author talks about. Don't let the messengers shoot themselves. So this article talks about growing suicides and killing of the fraternity in military and paramilitary forces. It is majorly due to lack of legal redressal and growing work stress. If you compare the military and paramilitary forces, at least military has certain legal redressal mechanisms, but they do not exist for the paramilitary forces. Armed Forces Tribunal, it only looks into the military, but not the paramilitary forces. And the second thing is, the paramilitary forces also do not have right orders or right procedures to get their cases appealed in the Supreme Court. So, to fight this menace, what we need to do? We have to ensure the proper grievance redressal mechanism exists and the stress counseling, and added to that providing for better livelihood conditions to the Jawans. And then the stress reduction techniques such as yoga, these can help. That's what the author talks about. And coming to the news page. Now in this, let us see about GST already, which we have discussed. And here, walk away from terror, PM tells the Pakistan. So terror and talk, they cannot go together. That is what is the stand of our PM. When Modi has taken oath, he has invited all the regional leaders and he has announced his neighborhood first policy to bring in stable, prosperous South Asia. But however, Pakistan has become a misfit in the same. So at the Observer Research Foundation, The Prime Minister has clearly stated that the Pakistan has to shun the terrorism to come on to talks with India. Let's go to the world page. In Davos, Z defends globalization. A rule-based globalization is very good. But however, the globalization has led to inequalities. That major reason is unequal division of capital and Western countries control over the capital. So, the protectionism is not a solution to fight evils of the globalization. Bringing in rule-based globalization is the solution. In this case, the existing institutions are not sufficient. So we have to ensure that the proper institutions exist to govern the globalization process and benefit the world together. And then Brexit. Miss Theresa May, Prime Minister Theresa May, clearly stated that she is going to move forward with a hard Brexit. If European Union repulses back, the UK is going to design its own economic policy where various tax benefits will be provided to attract the investments towards UK. And she also held her position on the immigration, and she said that anything against the national interest cannot be taken forward in UK. Let's talk about the business page. So with regard to the RBI, there are many questions are been coming up on the RBI autonomy and also corruption in the case of RBI. The institutional integrity is under check now. In this case, RBI governor has wrote to all its members stating that any indiscipline or integrity will not be tolerated. This is what can be described as zero tolerance policy. So these are the articles for today. And then I'm back. Thank you very much for your patience. All the best.